So a little update on the situation. You had an incident over the weekend. What do you have to say to us?
Well, we're here to answer some questions on our smart meter program. Excuse me, fly just landed on my nose. Now, we're happy to answer questions on the smart meter program. We've had, as you know, 6 previous incidents that are under investigation right now. On Friday, we had a 7th incident in the city of Saskatoon. And just for your information, we've just been notified there's been an 8th incident this morning in the city of Saskatoon as well. And we're currently sending people out there as we speak.
The findings we saw in the press release that said August is really when we'll know more about exactly what's happening. What's the process that you're going through right now to try to establish what's going on here?
Well, we have a technical team inside SaskPower. We have our meter experts, our engineering staff are looking at all aspects of the failure with the means that we have at our disposal. Our lab testing facilities are somewhat limited when it gets into large-scale meter testing. So we are undertaking work with 2 other firms to do third-party testing in independent labs. That work will take several weeks.
And has there been communication with the manufacturer, or can you let us know a little bit about who manufactures it, what the process is there?
Well, as you know, these meters are manufactured by Census Corporation. Census is involved in the investigation. They were here last week. They spent time on site with our technical staff. We're looking at every aspect of the meters that could possibly result in the type of failure that we're seeing at the site.
But these meters are used in other markets, and we haven't seen the same kind of occurrences in those markets. Am I correct in saying that? Or?
To our knowledge, that's correct. Census, as we understand, has deployed over 10 million meters in North America. The particular type of meter that we're seeing, I believe there's been over 1.5 million of these meters deployed in North America. We don't have information from other manufacturers as yet as to any other meter failures that would be typical to what we're seeing here. So this investigation has to run its course. We have to make sure we do our due diligence with the manufacturers and with the proper technical experts.
How much research have you put into the other markets? Because we did hear that there was a similar situation in BC not too long.
I'm not familiar with the incident in British Columbia. Every meter failure, and they're called meter failures, has a different type of failure mode, and we have to investigate the internals of the meter, the way that meter is attached to the socket, the disturbances on the distribution system at the time to make sure there's no fault that might have caused that meter to fail.
And who are the third parties that you're
at the present time, I can't release that information. They're industry recognized, and we will be releasing that once we have information and contracts in place with those firms.
What are you telling people who have had these smart meters installed that might be, wanting their old meters back?
Well, we understand the concern. Certainly at SaskPower, safety is our priority, always has been and always will be. We will certainly undertake to send people out to inspect the meters. If people have a concern, they can certainly call the number that SaskPower has put out in the media release. Folks can call, and we will certainly send people out to investigate and check and make sure their meter installation, first of all, is a new smart meter, because 4 out of 5 people still have the old meters on their house. But certainly, if there's a concern, we will look at it.
Should people be concerned?
Everybody has a concern. When you start having meter incidents, we as a company are concerned. So people need to know that the failure rates are still certainly within what the industry calls normal, but we're concerned about any meter failure that's on a customer premise.
Is there any point in the future where you're going to start removing them?
That's always a possibility. At this point, we haven't made that decision. We want to let the investigation run its course. We want to make sure we have factual information and proper data to be able to make that decision.
Now, those that have had the meters fail on them, have they requested that they get the old ones put in instead of the new ones?
On some of the meter failures that have occurred, yes, the older meter has been put on that particular meter service. We've had to replace the meter service box because of the blackening and the damage that was caused. So yes, an older meter was put back on in those cases.
If there's anyone with a new meter on right now and they want to switch back to the old, is that an option for them?
That is an option. If people truly want to have their meter replaced, we will certainly look at that. Again, we will inspect the meter base, but if the customer wants to look at having an older meter put on, we will certainly go that route.
Now, I know you guys are still doing research, but is it the belief that this is more to do with the installation of the meters than the actual meters themselves that's causing the issue?
Again, the type of meter failure is really specific in every case. In some cases, there have been meter socket issues in the past, and I know some of the manufacturers point to that as the reason. It's too early in the game to say that right now. There's just too much information that we need to understand and digest and analyze before we make that kind of announcement.
And who does install the meters? Is it Grid One?
Grid One is supervising the deployment of the meters. The actual meter installers are SaskPower employees, and they have been for several months.
From what we understand, they are not necessarily journeyman electricians. They've just been trained to install the meters. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct. The meter installers that are used on wide-scale grid deployments or meter deployments are called competent workers. They've been trained to install meters in a competent and safe manner. They are not qualified electricians, but in most jurisdictions in North America, the competent installer is what's used to install the smart meters.
Is that something you might look at revisiting in light of these incidents?
We don't believe there's any correlation between the meters that were installed by the competent workers or those installed by qualified or electricians that work for SaskPower. At the present time, the statistics don't bear that out. The meter failures are unique, and we're investigating every one of them for their specific origin.
What can you tell us about the 8th incident that happened this morning?
We don't know. We know it happened in Saskatoon just after 10 o'clock this morning. We have people en route. They should be on site right now, and we'll have more information as the day goes on. But I suspect it will be similar to the meter incident that occurred on Friday.
You know what area?
I believe it was on Beg Crescent in Saskatoon.
You're counting 8, but in that count, you're not including the house fire that started after our well meter was being installed. Why aren't you including that?
Because that meter didn't have a smart meter, or pardon me, that house did not have a smart meter on it. It was the old meter was being taken off at the time. There was conditions with the meter socket and the meter base that really point to the fact that heaving of the ground had pulled the electrical circuits down to the point where there was a weak connection, and there was no smart meter involved in that particular incident.
The employees who install the meters, are they paid hourly or are they paid per meter installed?
They're paid hourly.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.